this is, I think, probably most people's first look at the UI of the Nintendo Switch. So we're just going to boot the game directly out of here and get to it.
Yep.
You guys ready?
じゃあ早速始めます。はい。
Time to go on an adventure here. So we are going to start out in a place that is fairly familiar to anybody who played the game at E3 or who has followed our coverage. We're starting out on the Great Plateau, which is basically the introductory area of the game. And you spend some time there, and then for me, one of my favorite moments of the game is the moment you get to step off the plateau and into the greater world, because it's huge.
E3 ですでにゲームをプレイされている方はもうご存知かと思いますけれども、始まりの大地から始めますので、
はい、
ネートの一番好きなシーンなんですけども、これは高いところからここからジャンプして飛び降りる、ここから始めさせていただきます。
そうですね。ブレスオブザワイルドはこの高いところに登ってそこからこう下にこうドーンとこうね降りていくこの爽快感が一番重要なところなんで、それは気に入ってもらってるってのは非常に嬉しいですね。
I'm so excited that you actually like jumping off of a high cliff or high places, because that's one of the greatest features of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So we should say that essentially you can jump off the plateau in any direction. I mean, players are not, there's not a specific way they have to go. We're just going to choose to go in one direction.
どこの位置からでも、どこの大地からでもジャンプできるっていうような。
はい。
I think I'm going to head down here.
ここつながってますからね。遠いところまで。
So
どこ行っても自由ですからね。
So you can see, like even far ahead, that's all connected. It's all. You can go anywhere out, anywhere that you can see, you can go anywhere.
I'm going to start out down here, and maybe I think we're going to go and try to catch ourselves a horse.
馬を狙ってますね。
So I think Nate's going for the horse here.
So I'm going to try to land on it. Oh! Taming horses is not easy.
馬を名付けるのは結構大変ですね。
うまくやると馬の上にスッと乗れたりするんだけどね。
So if you're actually good and the timing is right, then you can get on the horse.
はい。で馬を捕まえにはこうやってちょっとかがんでね、音を立てないようにして近づく。
And then one of the trick is to kind of duck like this, what Nate's doing right now, and then approach the horse quietly.
Get that.
Okay, all right.
はい、今馬がこうちょっとイヤイヤみたいにしてますけど、最初のうちはね慣れてないんですよね。
So you can see at first the horse is kind of swaying from right to the left, and then it's not really obeying what you want to do, and that's because the horse is not used to yet.
こうまあイヤイヤとしたらちょっとこうなだめてやるってね、こうして。
And then if the horse kind of acts up, then you can tame it a little bit.
ね、ポワポワっとしたようなこうやってねエフェクトがね出ますけど。
And then you can see that little the pink effect.
Oh, easy, buddy, easy.
今出ましたね。
That effect right there.
こうやっていくとだんだん懐いてきて、馬がですねちゃんとしたところにこう歩いてくれるようになります。
And then the more of those taming effects that you get, the more the horse will be tamed. And then once it's tamed, it'll start running where the roads are on its own.
Oh yeah. So without me actually guiding it.
僕がガイドしなくても道沿いを走ってくれるという感じですね。
そうなんですよ。
Yeah, that's right.
That's really important too, because I think that the world is so big that there are times when you want to ride and look around, you know, sort of examine your surroundings, see like a place that you might want to go next, see if there are some enemies approaching. You know, it's important to have a horse that obeys the pathways.
世界がすごく大きいので、例えば周りを辺りを見回して何があるんだろうっていうことを確認したいのに敵がアプローチしてくる時なんかもあるので、やっぱりこうやって道なりを走ってくれるってことはすごく重要な仕様ですね。
そうですね。
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so I'm making my way. I guess we're going a little bit west here, but
馬がねずっとそのまま普通に道沿いを走ってくれるので、カメラでこう周りを見ながらね移動したりするのが楽しいですね。
Yeah, like you said, since the horse will be running along the tracks, along the road, you can kind of pan the camera around and then see your surroundings and enjoy the view.
So a little guy with a pack back there. So I'm approaching one of the many stables in the game. Maybe Mr. Onuma can tell us a little bit about that.
で今ここ馬宿に着きましたけれども、馬宿についてお伺いできますか？
はい。今道沿いに歩いていくとこの馬宿があるんですけど、これはこの世界に各地にいくつかこういう場所があります。
So the stables are actually scattered in few places along the world.
でここに来たらこう馬をね今野生馬を捕まえましたけど、こういう形で登録ができるんですね。
And then at the stable you can register these horses, the wild horses that you caught and tamed.
まあちょっとルピーを要求されますけど。
You're gonna have to pay a little bit of rupees, but you can register them here.
でね、一旦ここに登録しておくと、馬でこう遠くまで行って、その先なんかやってそのまま馬を放ってどっか行っちゃって、どこに馬行ったのか分かんなくなっても馬宿に行って馬呼び寄せてって頼むとここにすぐ呼び出してくれます。
So once you register the horse, when you're exploring out in the world, and then you kind of get off the horse, and you don't know where the horses are anymore, your horses anymore, you can go back to the stable and then ask for your horse, and they'll bring it back to you.
ね、自分で好きな名前を決めます。
And then you can name it however you like.
Not Epona.
今度はね、
Source is not
エ
opponent.
ポナ以外もいろんな馬でね。
そうですね。
This time around, you can ride all different kinds of horses aside from Epona.
Yeah, so and some are easier to break than others. There are horses that tend to have more spurs, they have more energy, but those are also harder. You saw that first one that I was trying to land on. He bucked me right off. He tried to kick me. So you can get a gentler. I think the gentler horses are easier to catch, but maybe aren't as strong when it comes to horses that you want to
で
ride.
馬によってはスタミナだったり速さだったりそういった違いがありますけれども、やっぱりちょっと強めの馬っていうのは名付けにくい、
はい、
でももうちょっと優しくてさっきネイトが落とされたような馬ではなくてもうちょっと乗りやすいような馬だともうちょっと名付けやすくってでもスタミナとかスピードが足りなかったりするっていうようなそういうふうな面白い要素もありますよね。
そうですね。
I'm gonna give him
今こうやって馬に
犬が。
犬が来た。
Ah,
that
there's a
dog's gonna
dog.
steal the apple.
犬が犬が
Oh, the dog
犬が食べた。
That was for my horse.
Dog. The dog ate the apple.
That's terrible.
ほら
So,
犬が喜ぶ。
Ah,
horse likes
so you
it.
can see that the dog was actually happy.
Look, he's following me now.
なんか犬が
犬が懐いて。
あ、ついてくるんですよね、こうして。
Yeah.
そうなんですよ。馬とか犬とかね、いろんな動物にこう餌をこう食べさせると意外にいろんな反応があったりするっていうのも今回いろいろ入れてますんで、それを探し出してほしいですね。
So one of the things we added to this game is you can give food items to the horses or dogs, and then they'll start to kind of follow you around and be tamed, and that's one of the fun elements that we included. Yeah.
It's pretty clear too that the stables in this world, this wild world, are places where human beings congregate. People of all races really come here, and as you see, I'm just talking to this guy. There's a lot you can learn about the world and a lot that you might need to do in the world when you interact with all the people at the stables.
でこの馬宿はすごくいろんな人があらゆるところから集まってきていてでここで次に何をすればいいのかとか世界では何が起こっているのかっていうような情報収集もできる貴重な場所ですよ。
そうですね。ここにここを拠点にしてこう旅をしてる人なんかもいるので。そこだけじゃなくて周りからもいろんな情報が集まってくるっていうねそういう場所になってますね。
So there's a lot of people that are using this as the stable as a base, and then are traveling in the world. So it's kind of interesting to see that you can collect a lot of different kinds of information here.
So we've of course discussed shrines before. They're all over the place. I'm going to jump into this one and show our viewers a little bit of the inside of the shrine. But while I did, I was kind of hoping that Mr. Miyamoto and Mr. Aonuma could talk a little bit about these awesome things that we have on the table in front of us.
レイトが今祠にたくさんあるうちの一つの祠に入りますけれども、その間にこのアミーボを紹介していただけないでしょうかと。
はい。じゃあ紹介しましょう。E3 の時にね、もうすでにご紹介してますけど、この馬に乗ったリンクのアミーボ。
So during E3, we've already talked about some of these amiibos.
でそれからこの弓矢のリンクのアミーボですね。
Archer Link.
はい。 それからこれがガーディアンというこれね足がこう自由にこう動かせるというこれアミーボ初ですね。
So this is a guardian amiibo, and then as you can see, you can bend the legs any way that you want, and this is actually a first of its kind.
そして今回初登場です。ゼルダ姫ですね。
And this is first time she's appearing as an amiibo.
どうですか宮本さん、今回のゼルダは。
ね。
What do you
こち
think?
らこっちこれはボコブリンという敵ですね。これが非常によくできてます。
And this is a enemy called Bokoblin, and then as you can see, it's really well made.
でゼルダ姫ね見てもらって分かるようにもうリンクとごめんなさいこちらカメラこっちカメラはい、リンクとね同じこの青い服を着てますね。
As you can see, when I put them together like this, you can see, but Zelda is actually wearing this blue tunic that that Link is wearing as well.
あと実は手にこれシーカースレートってやつですけどリンクが持ってるやつと同じものを持ってますね。
And then in Zelda's hand, you can see the Sheikah Slate, which is something that Link also has.
でこれねまあそのあたりはゲームの中でいろいろ明かされていきますのでまた楽しみにしていてほしい。
But details you can find out in the game. So I think you'll have fun discovering these information.
このボコブリンがね、
はい、
いっぱい出てくるんですね。いろんな種類が。
いろんな種類が出てきます。
Bokoblins, there's actually many different types of bokoblins, is that right?
だんだんとね、敵として可愛くなってくる。
そう
And
です
after you
ね。
fight them so long, they start to kind of grow on you, actually.
Totally.
一番ゲームの中でしょっちゅう出てくる、もう本当にうるさいわっていう出てくる敵です。
It's one of the enemies that you'll encounter a lot throughout the game, and it's almost a little annoying, but it's still very cute.
多分敵をこんなにね一生懸命作ったのは
初めてですね。
ね。
You know, it might be the first time that we've created a product with so much detail of an enemy character.
と言ってるうちにネイトがシュレインを攻略しちゃったので、
While we were discussing Amiibo, now you're done with the shrine.
Yeah,
so-
we with the viewers at home were watching me solve it. I didn't want to completely solve it, so I decided to bail out and go back out into the world so we don't spoil too much for people at home.
こう完全に最後まで解いてしまうと
そうですね
面白くないので、
はい
途中で
はい
出てきました。
ネタバレです。
これ祠をねクリアすると能力がこう上がっていくだけじゃなくて、
はい
ワープするポイント
場所になりますね。
ね。だから
So when you actually clear any of those shrines, not only do you get abilities, but it also becomes a warp point.
だからこう馬で移動するとかワープを使うとかパラグライダーで飛ぶとかまあいろんな崖から転がり落ちるとかいろんなルートが自分で選べるんですね。
And so, you know, whether it's warping or taking the horse or using the paraglider or just rolling off a cliff, there's many ways that you can get to places.
I love climbing up hills and then jumping off them.
でエポナはオカリナで来たんですけど今度は口笛が
これですね。
これ用もなく吹いたりするんですけど
ようもな
So, you know, Epona was obviously from Ocarina of Time, but this time you can actually whistle for your horse. But, you know, sometimes you're just tempted to just whistle just for the sake.
で今もうさっき裸馬でしたけど蔵ついてますよね。
And then earlier, it didn't have any saddles on it, but now it has a pretty cool saddle on.
馬宿に登録するとこの蔵とそれから口笛で呼ぶと来てくれるっていうそういう性能が加わります。
Once you register these horses at the stable, you can put on the saddle, and then another spec where if you blow a whistle, it'll come right up to you.
で今度の馬っていうのは大事なのは戦闘にも使う、ね、だから勝手にこうして道を走ってくれる AI がすごく優秀なんです。
So something important about the horses this time around is you can also use them for battle. So the AI becomes really important.
で、まあ、2年前からね馬が勝手に気をよけていくんですって簡単には言ったけどもどうしてそれを実現するかっていうのは実はこの動物のために専用のプログラマーがいて AI を作ったりそれからデザイナーも動物でものすごい種類の動物出てくるんですけど4つ足の動物からそれはねみんな一生懸命3年間作り続けたみたいな結晶ですね。
You know, it's a really when we're creating these animals, there's actually a programmer and like a designer specifically dedicated to these animals, and horse being one of them. And there's many, many different types of animals that come out in the game. And you know, designers and programmers spent a lot of time, 3 years, really perfecting and crafting these animals so that they become really, really natural.
I'm getting out of there. He was in danger. I didn't want to. You really have to take care of your horse. That's the thing, is that you care about this animal that you sort of domesticated a little bit. But I also wanted to point out, just because Mr. Miyamoto was talking about other animal life, you know, you look around and this is a living world, you know. Everywhere there's birds, there's beasts, there's things growing. There's just stuff everywhere. It feels very, very much like it's a living place. And I also want to point out that you guys probably saw when I went into that battle with these guys fairly unsuccessfully, that one of the advantages the horse gives you is that you can jump off it and go into slow motion, which gives you an automatic advantage if you actually hit them.
You missed it, Nate.
I did miss it. I was talking. It gives you an automatic advantage.
It's
It's like jumping off something.
You gotta be better at this, Nate.
I know, right? Go ahead, talk at the same time. Come on. But anyways, regardless of whether or not you're using the grip or whether you're using a pro controller, you can fine-tune aiming with the bow like this.
グリップでも使っていてもプロコンを使っていてもこういう風なすごい繊細なコントロールっていうのができるのが今回の魅力です。
そうですね。どちらも同じようにコントロールできます。
Yeah, you can control it the way however you want in any controllers.
それとね、馬の乗り降りなんですけども、まあエプラの場合はここから乗りなさいって決まってたんですけど、今度ねものすごい多彩な乗り方をしてくるんですね。
そうですね。
プレイヤーが。
And with how you actually get on the horse with Epona, there was a specific way that you had to get on the horse. But this time around, there's many different ways that you can get on the horse.
ね、後ろから。
Let me go from the
後ろ
front.
から前からでもいいですよ。前から。
Oh, actually try from the front.
前から。
首のとこからが。
首から。
From the neck.
From the neck.
Oh,
かっこいい。
getting shot by an ostrich. I gotta get out of here.
ね、
So then
や
from
っ
the
ぱ
back.
り動物とかとこうねいろいろこういろんなさっき餌やったりとかいろんなことができるようになってくる。馬に対してもいろいろできるようになってくる。それがこう気持ちよくねいろいろできるように一生懸命時間かけて調整してるのでそれをねこう味わってほしいです。
So we've added a lot of elements, like we talked about earlier, taming the horses or giving food to the horses. But everything's kind of streamlined and feels really natural. So I want the players to be able to enjoy that aspect of the game as well.
戦闘の時もねこの馬が非常にちょっと
You guys are in trouble.
さあ馬に乗ったままでの戦闘がなかなか楽しいんですよ。
And then it's really another fun element is battle while you're still on the horse.
Should I help these guys out? I guess I can. Looks like a couple of travelers, they were actually getting waylaid.
実はね馬で走って体当たりしても敵に攻撃してくれる。
You can actually hit the enemies with the horse and then
でこのねさっき青沼言ったこう気持ちよく動けるっていうのはすごい大事で、この彼らの世界をずっと気持ちよく歩き続けるために登るとか走るとかものすごく手をかけてるんですね。
Like Mr. Aonuma mentioned, the fact that it really feels good to do all these actions, that's a really important aspect. So we really made sure that it's fun to, whether you're climbing around or running around, it just feels right to be doing so in this world.
結構坂滑り落ちるのも気持ちがいいし、
Even just like sliding down a hill, it feels good, it feels right.
でこの馬が気持ちよくこう走るために爪の音まできちっとタララタララっていうリズムをこのアニメーターとサウンドのメンバーがきっちりと作り込んで気持ちよく走れるように。
And to create that vision of feeling just right, we made sure that even the hooves hitting the ground is just right. So the animator and the sound in charge really work together to make sure that it matches.
ちゃんとねこれ4つの足が地面についてる時にパカッパカッと音がしてるんですね。
And as you can see, it actually makes the sound when the heel hits the ground.
だからそれが走った時に変なリズムを奏でるってことはモーションがおかしいってことになる。
So if the sound doesn't match the movement of the horse, then that means the motion is kind of off.
そういうところにこだわりを持って作っている馬です。
And these are the little details that we really put our thought into while developing this game.
Well, one other detail that is overarching that I love is that because this is the weather system, the day and night cycle is constantly going on its own, this scene will look totally different for whoever plays it because they'll arrive at a different time of day. It might be raining, it might not, it might be a thunderstorm. Every player is going to experience this in a totally different way.
あともう一つ気に入っている点っていうのが天候の遷移とかあと日の沈み加減とか、そういうふうな一日の動きですね。それによって本当に他のプレイヤーが同じ場面で同じようなことを仕事をしていても全く周りの状況というか背景が違ったりして一人一人お客様が感じる感想というか感じるゲームプレイっていうのが違ってくるっていうのがすごいです。
違いますね。
I'm in trouble.
PR 用に写真撮ったりするんですけど、これいいよね、それどこなのって言われて行ってここですって言われるんだけど、同じシーンが撮れないんです。
雨が降るまで。
You're right. So sometimes I want to take screenshots for PR, and then I'll show it to somebody, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's really awesome. Where did you take that photo?" And then I'll go to the location and then try to take that same screenshot, but it's almost impossible to recreate it.
Because the lighting's totally different.
Yeah.
おお、やられてる。
Sorry, I had to get completely destroyed while Mr.
燃えましたよね。
Aonuma was telling
なん
that
か
burning.
anecdote.
もう本当にいろんなものが燃えたりするので、服に燃え移ったり、ね、雨が降ってきたら消えてくれる。
You know, as you saw, the grass was burning, and the fire can just really go anywhere. It can burn on you, and it'll go out once the rain comes too. So it's really natural.
結構雨の日はね、いろいろ辛いですよ。山登れないしとか。
It's actually kind of hard when it rains. You can't climb the mountain. There's a lot of hard elements.
あと雷ね。
そうね。
Oh, and the
雷
thunder too.
Yeah, thunder.
金属のものを全部こう木製のものに持ち替えないと。
脱がないとい
Yeah,
け
you
ない。
gotta change your clothes from metallic items to wooden ones to refrain from, getting struck by lightning.
Yeah, you got to totally strip out.
で敵にも自分にも同じように落ちますからね、
そうそう
雷は。
And it doesn't matter if it's you or the enemy. The lightning will just strike anywhere.
So speaking of dangerous elements, clearly guardians are roaming around. They are really, really nasty. I was just trying to get to that tower there, but that thing is between me and it. And I don't even know if I want to risk my horse.
危険な要素といえばちょっと向こうの方にガーディアンが見えてきます。
はい。
危険な敵の
危険ですよね。さっきやら
I
れ
want
た
the
んで
horse to
す
get hurt.
でちょっとネートは馬を傷つけたくないのでどう
I'm
し
gonna
よ
try to run
う
past
感
it.
じで悩んでいましたが。
そうなんですよ。今回ね、馬もね、死んじゃうことがある。
Yeah, you're right. There are times when the horses die too in this game.
だから気をつけて、なんとかその敵の攻撃を受けないようにしてあげないといけない。
So please make sure to avoid the enemy attacks, especially for the horses.
あと今ね、はもう早速こう危険なデンジャラスゾーンに行ってますけど、
And then Nate's
行かない方がいい。
headed straight for the danger zone. Right here.
ゲーム始めてすぐにね、
そう
ガノン城にハイロー城に行こうと思ったら行けますからね。
行けます。
Please don't do that.
You can actually go straight to Hyrule Castle when you first begin the game.
And then this happens to you over and over again.
でこれが毎回。
I like
Yeah,
that,
well,
that you have that freedom, though. I mean, I think it's good to go and get in trouble and then say, you know what, I'm not going to go that direction right now. I might come back a little bit later when I have some better stuff.
でまたその自由さっていうのがすごくいいですよね。
はい
でまた後ほどもうちょっと力がついた時にまた戻ってくるかっていうようなストラジーを考えるような感じになってます。
そうですね。そうやって、今までって行けなくなっちゃうともう詰まっちゃって先に進めないんですけど、今回そんなことなくて、この敵怖かったらずーっと遠くを回っていけばいいし、それにまたパワーをビリつけたらやっつけることもできるようになるので、もういろんなやり方をしながら最後のそのボスに向かっていってほしいと思いますね。
So in the past titles, like you could, if there was something that you shouldn't be going past, then you couldn't go past it. But with this game, you can go around, and it might take a long time, but you can go around and then try to avoid it, and then come back to it
That would
later
have
if
been a
you
better
want.
plan. Well, I'm not going to embarrass myself any further by dying continually in front of two of my heroes. So we're going to move on to our next segment. We are going to actually finish up with a close look at 1-2 Switch, which is not to be missed. But before then, we've got something else for you. I will tell you all about it on the other side of the break.